Okay, how's it going? I'm gonna review Dracula with. Don't look at me. Gary Oldman is so cool. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola. I'm gonna show the. I'm gonna just hold the Blu-ray here the whole time. It's pretty good. I like this movie. It's kind of over the top visually, and it's romantic. It's almost like a comedy at times. I was reminded of Dracula Dead and Loving It. It just the story of Dracula. There's so many versions of it. It's so familiar somehow. This one's got some horror as well, and like some kind of cool gore and special effects and shadows and stuff. But again, it's like it's so ridiculous and over the top. One of my favorite parts though is the music by he's like Wojciech Kilar or something. He maybe he's Polish. I don't know. When you've got if you've got a name and there's like five consonants in a row or like seven consonants in a row, STRKJLPTV, and then finally you get an E or an I or sometimes a Y. Then it's probably Polish. I don't know. I don't know what his background is, but the music's really nice. There's a sort of love theme or love remembered. Kind of builds up. I actually really like that theme, and some of the iterations of it in the movie, like it might be strings playing it, or like maybe just a solo flute or piccolo or something, and then some other solo instrument, and it's just very passionate, romantic, kind of builds up, very rich. And I think that's kind of interesting as well, making Vlad or Dracula, whatever. They say his name a few ways. They say Dracul at some point with no ah. It's confusing. But yeah, it kind of makes him maybe a bit more tragic, like he did love this woman and then lost her. It's a bit like Romeo and Juliet, but I hate that kind of thing. In romance, like, I hate the phrase, I couldn't live without you. That's creepy, man. That's not cool. You shouldn't be dependent on someone else. It should be more like, I want to live with you. I'm so happy to be alive, and I really like spending time with you. You make me, you fill my life with happiness or something like that. But if you die, or if I can't be with you, all right, well, I'll still get by. It shouldn't just be like, oh, I haven't seen you for a week, I must commit suicide now. Like, that's insane. That's basically what happens. The same with Romeo and Juliet. I guess they just poison each other. If you think, like, that's a bad sign. If you think the other, like, I get it's very sad if someone passes away, but that doesn't mean you then should kill yourself. I don't think so. I don't think that's healthy. You gotta you love yourself first. That's the top priority. And then spend your life caring or whatever, devoted to someone else, fine. Anyway, I guess I'm saying it should be like mutual gain, mutual, our lives are enriched. The total is greater than the sum of the parts, rather than dependence on each other. Mutual dependence. So, if you get angry, then I get angry, and it's not good. Yeah, so I like the visual style as well. There's some crazy parts with the camera, and I kind of like that it goes not too far, but it has a bit of blood, a bit of gore, and a sort of eroticism, like there's some nudity, and there's women are making interesting noises. There's definitely like Dracula seduces people or he's manipulating them. So it makes it more interesting than if it was just, I don't know. So what am I trying to say? Kind of that it's sexy, or that it's like everything's kind of heightened, it's over the top. I like Anthony Hopkins in it. He's kind of a weird actor. The way he speaks, he almost seems to be in another world. I can't impersonate him, but he has a couple of hilarious lines though, where he's just kind of almost like flippant, or just it's like he doesn't realize, or he doesn't care how insensitive he's being. Like when I think Lucy has been killed or whatever, she's been converted to a vampire, and he's like, we need to dig up the body, and they're like, you can't be serious. You know, her husband who's like destroyed is like, you can't, you know, it's like, no, 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 I just need to cut off her head and cut out her heart or something like that. And the guy's like, walks away and he's like, what? What did I say? I think Winona's quite pretty in this movie. I don't know if that's... I feel like that's part of movies. We don't just cast random people in movies. Usually it's pretty good-looking people or interesting characters. I think apparently Keanu Reeves was cast because he was a heartthrob at the time. And I think maybe Francis Ford Coppola later felt that was maybe a bit of a superficial thing. Apparently he was thinking of Johnny Depp, but they didn't get him because he wasn't a heartthrob. It's confusing. I thought he was probably in a similar category. Because Edward Scissorhands came out like a year or two before this, 1990. This came out in 92. And yeah, Winona Ryder was good in that as well. Although I don't think she looked good when she was old. I didn't think it was convincing. Yeah, I don't have much else to say. Just a few funny bits. The start with Keanu Reeves is kind of hilarious. Like, there's so many... I think the first movie, like 1931 with Bela Lugosi, I really like that. But I think it's a bit more subtle. It's a little bit creepy, a little weird. You know, listen to them, children of the night. What music they make, like maybe it's bats or something. And he just seems a little eccentric. There's maybe a few little red flags, but I don't think it's that. It's just kind of a little bit weird and eerie. And it's kind of really cool. I really like that movie. But this one is like, dude, get out of it. It's insane. It's like just already 0 to 100 horror movie. His like shadow is not in sync with him. The guy in the the chariot thing, whatever, that brings him, their arm is able to stretch like really far to grab his shoulder and guide him in. And Dracula just acts, or I don't know what he calls himself at that point, really creepy. And then of course there are those three women who are kind of semi-naked, and then they kind of like go on him, and then I don't know if they try to bite him or if they're maybe taking some of his blood, keeping him weak or something, and his hair goes grey. I felt like the movie didn't really explain things that much. I wasn't completely clear on how he escaped. He kind of goes out the window at one point, jumps into the water, and then I don't know, I don't think we see him after that. He just kind of ends up marrying Winona at some point. The plot was a little tricky to follow. I thought I was paying attention generally. I did like Van Helsing and the way he kind of worked with the other men. The plot, honestly, I didn't follow later on. They were trying to intercept Dracula. I didn't know why they needed to get to a certain place. Was Dracula going home or something? That didn't seem clear to me. But I did kind of like the build-up as it's the sun is setting, and then, you know, they've got to quickly get to him, and they're trying to dig in, and then all of a sudden Dracula just bursts out like, yes, it's nighttime, he has power now. But I was disappointed that he kind of got killed really quickly. I guess he killed one of the good guys. Although there's three men, they seem kind of plain. Like Gary Oldman, I think he's a good actor. He's very funny in The Princess Bride. But in this movie, there's just not much to them. They don't get to do much. Richard E. Grant, or whatever. Again, the actors are fine, but I couldn't tell you the difference between those three characters. It feels like it could just be one character. Unless they have, like, funny lines, or they're somehow different from each other. Play different roles. Felt like it overlapped. I also didn't get the point. I like Tom Waits as a musician, and he's Renfield in this movie, but he eats bugs, but I didn't get what he did. I don't remember seeing how he helped Dracula, and it felt like he could have just been out of the movie. I didn't even understand where that was, like an insane asylum or something. And then Dracula gets angry at him, there's like green gas in it, hits him a few times. Maybe I need to revisit the other movies, or I need to read the book at some point. I've read like maybe the first chapter ages ago. I start a lot of books and I never finish them. It's a bad habit, or from the past. Anyway, I think I should probably just summarize. I kind of like this movie as just like it's kind of messy there. It's kind of fun, over the top, silly. Yeah, it got some cool stylistic parts. I liked Dracula himself. They kind of mystery and the kind of darkness and the romanticism, and some of his outfits look really cool, in the glasses, he just walks around like he's so cool, and then he just appears on the other side, and just like, I don't know, I want to be like that, just all powerful and just so cool, you know, not intimidated by anyone. But then he also turns into like a beast, kind of like a werewolf, and he's got, you know, he's over the top of Lucy at one point, this huge monster, and like the moving around, and then I don't know, some of those visions kind of weird, and they'll be in these different kind of forms of monsters, and there's the part where it's just his head in like a box or something, and he's able to also, his eyes are like in the distance that he could communicate with people. It's pretty cool. But having said that, I don't know that it all holds together. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And yeah, the plot feels like it jumps around a bit. I don't think the other characters, there's a lot of substance to it. And also the end credits had a really weird, it played some of the music and then it had like a pop song in the end that I didn't like much. I didn't get that. You know, that romance theme is really nice. I felt like had that romance been a bit more solid or some kind of consistent message, it might have been a bit better. Because you feel like that love is real, and then that might make it Dracula a bit more of a tragic character, but I don't know that it completely works. Anyway, so it's just entertainment. It's, in that sense, it's pretty good, pretty unique in terms of how far it goes, and it's just kind of goofy and fun. Anyway, alright, thanks for watching. Bye.